by Life Force. My name is Stefan Rao, more commonly known as Tank. And for those of you who might be new to the call, the Life Force is an association of people that have come together from all over the world in an effort to change the world.
On there between Joe Biden and Kavanaugh from the past, and now and most of the Supreme Court being more conservative, they're looking at actually getting Trump the votes that way as well. They feel that he has the jurisdiction of the law is on his side when it comes to getting the votes to change the electoral college.
He does have the votes. It's not he's not getting votes. He has the votes.
I'm sorry, he does have.
The question is that everybody has taken a class in Biden math, and nobody can count anymore. So yes. I was going to throw this in there. So since you're already talking about it, we'll talk about the election for a second. In the state of Georgia, as you know, this hearing has been going on all week, right? But the key to it was at the end of the day, they came out with a video. So all of the Georgia representatives were saying, oh, no, there's no fraud. We've been watching this closely, all of these things. At the very end of the day, I think it was on Friday, they came out with the video of a whole bunch of people stealing ballots, moving ballots, right at the end. And then, boom, that was the end of the day for the case. So I thought that was fantastic. So no one had a chance to rebut anything, and everybody has to think about that now all weekend long. So let's see what they do come Monday. Also, in the state of Michigan, there were more votes for Biden than there are registered voters in total in the entire state. So that's another case of, remember back in the 80s, it was Reaganomics. Well, let's call this Bidenomics, right? Because his math doesn't add up either. Yeah. So, yep. So there's a lot of information coming out now. As far as arrests and everything are concerned, there were 2 executive orders signed this week. One of them is for election fraud, and there are many warrants on that executive order, as I understand it.
There is. Yes, there is.
Yeah. And what was the second one? I think it was
COVID fraud,
wasn't it?
The second one is fraud relating to COVID-19.
Oh, yeah.
Withheld information.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, information withheld, distorted, numbers being created. Matter of fact, last week we talked about the attempts to cash in death bonds based on the number of COVID deaths at RBS. This week, it was actually at Citibank in New York, and that was courtesy of a group of agencies that are working on that, right? So
yes.
They all said that they had codes to bank accounts that they could use to fund against these bonds, and code after code, person after person. This went on for, I think, 2 days, right? 2 or 3 days, Tom?
2 or 3 days, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I'm sorry. So it's not fraud, it's censorship. So it's COVID, it's fraudulent information about COVID and censorship, because people that are talking about the truth, what's actually happening with COVID-19, they're censoring, including reputable medical journals like PubMed, as well as any doctor that comes out, the World Alliance of Doctors, which now has 50,000 doctors who have signed petitions saying this is not what they're saying. All that information that's been being censored and basically trying to maintain a certain level of ignorance. So apparently that's the extension of the executive order to come out.
Yes, yes. So I'd like to go right back to Georgia. I'm sorry, I'd like to go back to Georgia for one quick also announcement. So I believe that within Georgia, they actually have another issue with USB drives that they have actually captured, or have, as citizens have seen or recorded the USB drives, and some of the election officials in Georgia actually using those USB drives, which they shouldn't be doing, inside those Dominion machines, and they captured it all on video. So they also have that as well. So be aware. Mm-hmm. There's a lot coming on with that. Also, one more last thing with the U.S. Marshals. I think Tank did a special report on Cuomo and the fact that he did get a warrant. He did get a warrant for all they got a wiretap for all his information coming from not only from the his office phones, but also from the governor's mansion as well. He has been caught dead to rights, doing some not so nice things, and so they are pressing with that investigation. And at some point, we will get some very, very interesting news when it comes to what he's been doing, not just with the New York, but also with deep state officials and the COVID vaccine communication that he's had with Bill Gates, as well as some other individuals here in New York, meetings that he's attended. So that's coming next week. So please come back next week. That's valuable information. All right. Okay. So as far as the only thing I wanted to talk about is also deep state. Oh, wait, one more thing. Citizen arrests. So I think citizen arrests are very important. The U.S. Marshals are definitely working with people who are submitting citizen arrest requests. And I know that the New York State sheriffs are going to be given orders that they need to take those citizen arrest information coming from citizens seriously, very, very seriously, and they are going to allow investigations of those documents or those requests for information or for investigation very seriously in the next coming 2 weeks. So if you have an issue, you know of something that's going on, and you want to submit, please do it now, because they are going to take all that seriously and push it and investigate all of it. Very, very important. Okay. What else?
That's very encouraging, Tom. That's great news. That's great.
Very, very good.
So,
Well,
just to repeat what Tom just said, I think that's very important to everybody out there who hears this now and in the future. So for everybody who's hesitated to call together their assemblies or has a knowledge about these things in any state, what Tom just said from inside the White House, that the marshals, the U.S. Marshals, will be examining the information that comes in for citizens' arrests, right? So that means that
not specifically U.S. Marshals, all law enforcement are being
the sheriffs as well, right?
The sheriffs as well, yes.
Okay, so that means, and this is very important to know who your sheriff is. Now, Tom, I don't know if they know this, but in Staten Island, the alleged sheriffs who are going in to rough up Mac's spot, I went out there myself. They're not sheriffs; they're UN policy enforcement.
Yes.
They just wear a flak vest that say sheriff.
Yes, absolutely. But also, I mean, there was an altercation that happened where I think he was trying to pull away. One of the owner of the bar was trying to pull away, and he accidentally, or I don't know if an accident, but I know that he hit one of the cars, one of the sheriff's cars, or one of the cars, the officials that was there, and so that gave us a little bit of problem. So whatever you do it lawfully, do it honestly, do it with integrity, and record everything, because fake news will absolutely take advantage of all. I know De Blasio was going to was trying to say things about how the what's that group? Poor Boys? No, Poor Boys? No, not Poor Boys. There was a group of individuals that call themselves.
Yeah, I can't think of it now either. But I know who you're talking about.
Proud Boys.
Proud Boys, yes. So they were there trying to back up the owner, and they were doing their level best to do what they can do as a militia group or a group that's there to protect the interest of the citizens from the police, right? Not physical, not violent, no. Nothing having to do with physical violence, just to be there present in to witness any altercations that were to happen there. And so based on that, it's very important that we all keep our heads, we make sure that we abide by the law, and we make sure we push back as citizens so that we back each other. And I think that's what they're there for. That's why Congress, Council Member Borelli was there as well. But you have people like De Blasio and Cuomo who are definitely working for the other side, and they will do whatever they can to instill their will in New York. And we need to, as citizens, take that to heart and push it discreetly, push it together honorably and with integrity to not cause issues, but to stand up for ourselves.
Now, to that point, to the arresting officers as well as the owner of Max and Tom in the White House, because I feel like there's a constant misunderstanding about what the law is, right? Particularly law enforcement. Every single American has the right to resist arrest if they're being unlawfully arrested. Also, if you are witnessing someone commit a crime, which these police did, they committed a crime, they interfered and tried to impose something that is not lawful in the first place. This business owner already has a contract. In his contract, he has not violated it. They punished him by taking away his liquor license because it's a bar that stayed open after 10 o'clock at night. But in New York, people don't even go out till 10 o'clock at night. So if he's going to stay in business and make a living, he would need to stay open for real hours. So when it comes to the actual law, so everybody knows, this now flips the burden of proof onto them. See, now they have to prove that closing the area at 10 o'clock at night is warranted. How does this affect the virus? How did it help in any way? That's the first thing.
It's nocturnal.
Oh, it's nocturnal. That's right. I forgot COVID-19.
Yes.
Two things we know will stop it. Get rid of President Trump because he's the cause, right? That's what they say. And then don't do it at night. Stay in your homes as much as possible.
And especially don't mix it with alcohol after 10 p.m.
Right.
Because that's why the bars have to close and all liquor stores, I don't know, many states are closed by 10.
Everybody turns into gremlins. It's a whole different version. It's terrifying. Yeah. So please beware of that.
The nocturnal virus. Yeah.
Yeah. But when it comes to the actual law, this bar, this restaurant has a contract. They have a license agreement, right? A licensure agreement to get their liquor license. They have no right to take their liquor license. That's number one. They have no right to drag this man out of his property they had no right to be on in the first place. And anybody that sees this happen, you also have the right to intervene to help stop it. Now, don't get yourself killed, to Tom's point. Okay, don't get yourself shot. These guys are, who knows what's going to happen. But I will say, if you're being arrested unlawfully, you have the right to resist. And by the way, and you should, without getting hurt. Okay. Yeah. Now, Tom's very conservative, and I know that I'm not trying to advocate violence. What I am trying to do is get people to say, don't consent. Don't consent to these things. You don't have to. You didn't do anything wrong. Don't act like you did. Don't let them convince you that you did. Okay. That's one. Now, Tom, I want to ask you another question. In reference, you seemed a little bit waffle on the mandatory vaccines. And I know you also in the same breath kind of mentioned the Pentagon is going to be funded, right? Directly, which I think is great.
Let me add to that real quick before you go back to Tom.
Yep. Okay, go ahead.
It'll become very apparent if they are listening to this. I know Tom's obviously listening. This morning, every single person in the military was promised personal funding or offered personal funding in very large amounts, especially the ones that were holding dinar and some other things at the Pentagon for assisting in the dispersing of vaccines. So, Milley is one of those people.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting because where are they getting the money? Who is paying them? That's
Well, the Pentagon is starting a rumor that Milley was actually, that's right. There is no money, people. Hello. Did you get proof of funds before you signed our lives away? I just thought that would be really a good idea, but
how about proof of efficacy or proof that a disease exists? Any of those things? How about any of those things?
Before you compromise the lives of 300 million,
sure.
400 million people.
So let me make an announcement. The colonels that are working on an IP to IP transactions that they think are going to move $11.4 trillion, it is not going to work. So if that's where you think you're getting your money from these IP to IP transactions, which I got the information on and was sent to me, it's not going to work. You're fooling yourself. You're being
That
used.
was what Citibank was, Tom. That was the first round of an attempt to do that. It's always, especially with military folks, you're either messing around at UBS in Switzerland or you're messing around with Citibank in some location or another, usually in Zurich. And I'm saying that for a specific reason.
Yes, I know that. Yes.
So it has only been 14 years, since anyone in your world has accessed those accounts. Chinese or otherwise. So why do you think today is the day? And it got worse this week. And I'll get into that with my intel as well. But the point is that they're never going to change. Would you agree, Tom?
Well,
They're never going to stop promising.
Yes. So let me just add to that real quick. I can absolutely tell you right now that Rothschild and any of their affiliates and any of those people who had access at all to anything in the past do no longer have access to anything. It's been confirmed. They are completely done.
Those
Don't think that they are coming back.
They're gone.
Well, regardless, these people still think there is, but I'm telling you right now, they are no longer viable. If you're listening to somebody who is taking lead from any of these individuals, they have no more capability than grandma down the block to access anything.
And Tom, their memories are very short. Do you remember when I spent 4 hours on the diplomatic line with the Pentagon and I gave them access to the back system and I said, pull together all the accounts that you can find, right? And all your elders and all your people and go through and you tell me if any of those accounts still exist, A, or B, have any cash in them if they do exist, or C, do they still have the same name on them? Are any of those people real? I done the same thing with the White House. This was only what, a year ago, maybe?
Yes.
I did this.
Yes.
So 4 hours I spent with these people. You know how much time we've given to these deep state lovers, you know, to try to explain things. We've drawn diagrams. We've done all kinds of things off this call and on this call. And it's like a robot that it's like watching a movie, right? And you're getting to the good part and you're thinking, oh, wow, the heroine is going to win, right? But then all of a sudden, it's like there's a glitch and the movie rewinds back to the beginning and it's like you never had the conversation. And it never goes any further at that point. You know, it's like you'll talk to them for 2-3 hours. They'll be like, oh yeah, now we understand. Oh, well, we're going to go wait for Tuesday, the whatever day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, when our big payout's going to come. Thank you for calling us though, and wasting your time. So that's not happening anymore.
Yeah. So what did I tell you on Friday afternoon after I got off the phone with a bunch of them over there? And I said, there's so much infighting going on. They're never going to change, Kim. And what did you say to me? And we're done. Right.
Is that your final answer?
Yes. You asked me if that was my final answer. And I was sad to say that, yes, the mindset of these people are that they just want to continue at all costs to achieve their goals and not listen to anybody else and not try to move forward. And so sadly, yes, that was the final nail.
So let's go back to where my week started this week. Okay. My week started with Twitters and all kinds of social media stuff. Kim is getting arrested today on Monday. Well, here I am. I'm not arrested. There's no ankle bracelet. There's nothing, you know, there's no guards in the background. You know, I'm fine. I'm here. No one's bothering me. No one's coming to get me. I live in a government protected.
But Kim, I read it on the internet that you're definitely going to be arrested. I mean, they clearly, you're so hidden, even though you're doing a public show every week.
You know, I got hay. You know, I might as well have my own toothbrush and you know whatnot. It's called a go bag. You know.
Yeah.
Change of underwear, whatever. You know, just in case someone showed up here to come arrest me. No one came. Nothing's happening. Everything is fine. I'm in a government protected zone, so the government has to get permission from the government anyway to come here. So I don't know who's arresting me.
Well, whoever has clearance above you, which would be nobody. Oh,
nobody.
Right. Got it. Right. Santa Claus will be doing arrests. Other fictional characters, which will also be doing this.
I got my tree and the cookies. I'm waiting for Santa.
You look like like a snow princess. You look great. I love the whole scene in the background. Very nice. Very nice.
I thought I'd get festive.
Yeah. So,
all right. So not arrested. I'm here at home doing my thing as always. For any of you that wanted to know, I know Anna Von Reitz has been pushing everything this Monday. And I can tell you why that's all happening. So every single time there's a massive deep state failure, they push all the shills in the alt media, and every single one of them's got an article about Kim within literally minutes. So all this started happening on Monday, and I was like, Then I figured out why. So the call came in from the Pentagon on the diplomatic line, right? And they were telling me that they were coming here to ask for funding. Well, this was kind of all serendipitous, the way that it all happened. So then at 1:46 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Milley gets a phone call from his deep state boss and is told, absolutely do not come. We're going to cut you in on the vaccine deal, the 6.4 trillion. We're going to pay you all this money. If Biden gets into office, we need your support to get Biden into office, because then the RV is going to happen and you guys are all going to get paid out $1 bazillion. That doesn't exist. And so he went in full effect. They literally called me at like 9 something Eastern Standard Time in the morning. And then within 9:40 something is when Milley clocked in to the building, and they told them all, no way. There was a big fight, went on all day, and no one ended up coming here. And so that was the Pentagon this week as well, in addition to
excuse me, let me just add to that. So I told an admiral that I'm working with who works in the Pentagon. Kim was so upset. She was.
Well, I started that one because I called you and I told you that. I called Tom and I was like, call the admiral. I've been sitting on the front porch, flagging my American flag all day, waiting for the military to show up for 4 hours. No one came. I was so sad. I was like, really? I'm like, oh no. Are you kidding me?
Really? I mean, really?
I don't even think I got dressed. I was in my jeans.
Well, but he believed me. He believed me, and he goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't believe it. I know there's a lot going on right now." I said, "Are you kidding me? You think she's waiting for you after the 20th or 30th time you never showed up? Please, we're used to it by now. Don't worry about it. We're good."
So what happened? So I'll tell you exactly how this works. So they came here on Sunday. They had been in town negotiating with the local people. And the local people are not my friends, just so you know. They're not the country's friends. They're only their own friends and nobody else's friends. And probably most of them would be considered Black Sun operatives. Okay, very, very high up agency people and so on and so forth. So they had this whole negotiation, and they couldn't stop them from coming anymore. They were threatened by the Pentagon, actually. They were told that there would be bloodshed if they continued to block them from meeting with me. And, this is a matter of national security and so on and so forth. They apparently made some deal I'm not really aware of, involving some money and some payouts and so on and so forth. And then, just as they left, then the deep state people that are here locally phoned and activated their people in the Pentagon to make sure that no one came here. They need to delay until later on this month, and I'll explain to you why. But that was the whole reason behind this whole event. So what the deep state does, to be clear, if there's any government people listening, they will make a deal with you to your face and then activate someone on the flip side that's with them behind your back and make sure that whatever deal you made doesn't actually happen. Now, I did this for 2 years with these people. So I negotiated, and then I watched them steal from the back end, right? Then I'd take it back. And then we did this round after round after round for 2 years. So the good news is that after dealing with these people that long, I know exactly how you operate. So I'm going to tell everyone listening on this call that is what you did. 1:46 a.m. called Milley on his personal phone and activated him to actively make sure that the Pentagon plane did not take off. So that's what happened. So you can check your phone records. It's all there. Telecommunication system. You can pull that phone call anytime you like. Now, so one thing that we did as a team this week is Tank's been working very closely with the Viking this week on trying to get out some orders on the diplomatic line to all the militaries and intelligence agencies all around the world. So we did send out 2 directives. Number one, we informed everyone that we have reinitiated the Directorate Office, which they're very, very familiar with, and they're very familiar with the clearance levels that are written on there, and the numbers that are on there can be verified within their systems. So this was all very interesting on how this all went down. So that was the first order. The second order that we put out this week was about to stand down on no mandatory vaccines. Do not force vaccinate a citizen of this planet. It doesn't matter what country you're from. So immediately the deep state machine went into effect. Okay, so everybody was yelling and screaming and panicking because that's their cash cow, right? $6.4 trillion cash cow. So the good thing that happened out of this is that it actually led us to actually know who the deep state actors are in all the militaries and all the agencies, because they all showed their true colors on that day by arguing against following those orders, thinking that there would be no enforcement, right? When this all happens. So that was good. And then, of course, we had the pro-pagan machine, right? Propaganda machine go into full effect, pushing vaccines now, and everywhere from Russia to the UK, to Africa, to South America. I mean, and of course, here in the United States, right? So this went into full swing. Vaccine. I don't even know how they had a commercial that didn't even have the word vaccine in it, because every 5 minutes on the news was vaccine the very next day. So then, well, a couple days later, I talked to Tom, and I asked Tom, I said, is that your final answer, right? They're going to push for vaccines. So all those contracts are also available. Most of the people from the Pentagon signed the contract with DocuSign, the Gmail program on Google. So they're not hard to find who signed the contract. So you can look those up too if you're investigating fraud, right? And crimes against the American people. So once he said that that was the final answer, we called in our own other ghost teams and began global cleanup. We estimate somewhere between within the next 7 to 10 days that operation will be completed. And I don't know if it's hit the news yet, but I will give you something that is absolutely confirmed. The director of the Mossad was assassinated in the middle of Tel Aviv this week, just 48 hours ago. So I guess he must have signed the
I just want to add something again, because you asked me if that was my final answer, but I really need everyone.
Your final answer?
No, but I think the final answer, meaning that we've gone round and round with Pentagon, with government agencies, with CIA, with Langley, with all these individuals that are part and parcel of just a mindset. And when she says, is that your final answer? It was difficult to say yes, because my involvement with these people are, is at a level where Kim trusts when I say that there is no changing these people, because I've spent many years since, I'm going to show you my age now, since 1996, dealing with individuals inside this government, one way or the other. And it's come to a point where when she says, is that your final answer? I have to say, yes, sadly, yes. And we need to move on to help the people even more so, rather than dealing with people who are just not going to change. So please continue.
Yeah. So a lot of people are going missing this week. It's not just the United States, it's all over the world. We have confirmed that President-elect, or whatever you want to call him, the other presidential candidate, Biden, is wearing an ankle bracelet. He's been singing like a canary about all his deals he made with China and all these other places. Of course, he promised everyone, not only at the Pentagon, but at every agency, if they push for him to get in. This is why the CIA's Dominion voting machine is under fire. You probably will never find the heads of Dominion resurface. I know you said that everybody's looking for them, right?
Yes.
In Jamaica?
Yes. Well, I can actually confirm that Biden does have, it has been questioned and has given a lot of information, because he wants to save himself. He wants to save Hunter. He wants to save his legacy. So it's working. And there are good enforcement officials who are pushing the right buttons.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Enforcement's coming much faster now, right? So it's
that is correct. So because they see, it went from who does she think she is, putting out this order, so on and so forth, right? Now, well, what's she going to do about it? Well, nothing. So, we just ignore it. Let's go get our cash in our vaccine money or whatever it is. There's death bonds at Citibank or whatever it is they're doing, right? But there is enforcement. Everybody just keeps disappearing. Maybe that's somebody else. I don't know.
some rogue force out there that's a fan,
Rogue force. That's a fan. Yeah. You know how they can be.
Formidable.
Yeah. It's like TMZ on steroids or something.
Something. I think that's right. Yeah. TMZ on steroids. Something like that. Mixed with a bear and a falcon.
Yeah, possibly. Okay, so what else did I miss? Okay, so why are they pushing so hard to get these vaccines and everybody vaccinated within 2 weeks, within 2 weeks, within 2 weeks? Oh, it has to happen right now. Well, the pagan holiday of the solstice is coming up on the 21st, isn't it?
Saturnalia. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're going to push and push and push because they have lost control on that day of humanity. That's it. It's over.
Don't forget the merger of Saturn and Venus, Saturn and Jupiter, that it's coming, right?
It's in alignment with Uranus on the full moon.
But supposedly those two planets aligning so closely together, it's supposed to be a bright star in the sky that is supposed to allow some sort of demon to come from a portal or something. I don't know. So, yeah. Stupid.
I don't know. Only thing I can tell you is that whatever one they're calling isn't going to come. Nobody's coming. It's over. So they have to try to get control of us. They have to. They're losing control. They've lost control. And remember, we've already won. We just have to finish out the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So we talked about the election news. I went over the fact that there were more voters than more votes for Biden than registered voters in Michigan, probably more than people that live in the state over the age of 18. Okay, so let's see. Oh, all right. So actionable item this week, and then I have something to talk about as far as what we're doing as well. I noticed I went to the White House website. There's a petition on there to investigate Bill Gates. And arrest Bill Gates for crimes against humanity. It's got hundreds of thousands of signatures. So I started thinking about it. I'm like, well, the White House has a difficult time knowing who the deep state is, right? Until they show their cards in their hand, which they do eventually. But why don't we help them out? Why don't we all start filing for petitions and signing petitions? And so we can get those petitions up to the top of the list and make sure the White House takes note by name of who these people are and what they've done. I mean, why not, right? If we're going to be able to do citizen arrests or they're going to take citizen information seriously now, then let's give them citizen information all the way up to the top, right? If you're an American citizen, of course. I don't know if any other countries have this also available, but if they do, I suggest that you do it where you are as well. Let's tell them who they are. We know, right?
Yeah, and natural laws are universal.
I was just going to say, somebody may have given them strategic information on how to do that and that it should be done.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who that is. I don't know those people. Okay, so next. The good news is that we are no longer going to need an app for our banking system. So this is something I've been working on for the last couple of weeks, and whenever I can, as quickly as I can. So the banking system switch on Thursday, was it, Tom? Thursday?
Thursday, yes. Can I tell them my compliance?
Well, let me finish the story first.
Go ahead. When you're done.
Okay.
When you're done.
All right. So it's completely integrated now into the front end system. But what it does is it bypasses the federal back system completely and totally. So it connects directly to the web server system, which is what your tellers would see or what you would see when you log into your account. If you looked at that video about the financial system, you saw when we got to the second part, which is also on Speak Project, it starts talking about the load balancers and back office where the CIA is in every country in the world, and then, you know, on down to finally where you see your account. So we kind of just stuck ourselves right in the middle and then bypassed the whole federal system and re-implemented the transfer system into directly to the web servers. We bypassed everything with the new VTN system that was integrated the week prior for the internet, right? So I don't know if I talked about that last week or not. If I didn't, the internet now also runs on a VPN. So I called Tom the next day, I think it was Thursday because I did it on Wednesday night. And I said, hey, is your banker friends calling, you know, your back office people calling you at all today? Is there anything odd going on? And so what do they say, Tom?
Yeah, so I get the call from the individuals because now she's made all these changes, and so I get a few calls. I get one call specifically, but there was 8 to 10 compliance division guys that I used to work with in the banking system, right? Because of what we do, right? I get to know these people pretty good. I mean, they're friends, so they call me up and they're all nervous and, you know, complaining that there's issues going on with their jobs. And I said, what's the matter? What's going on? And they said they were getting calls by individuals, other compliance division guys that they work with at the tier 1 banks, that the system has become automated. And that because it's automated now, that the money that we're going to pass through the system, meaning through Kim and, you know, through what we're trying to do, you know, to stop the fraud and to make sure people don't, you know, press that button so money doesn't go through, right? As far as especially what's going on. So they call up and they get me on the call and they said, Tom, we need you to give us some assurances that if we are fired for not following suit from the, you know, the guys above, right? The senior officials in the bank and or, you know, the people above, like the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, all these individuals who run the bank from behind the scenes, right? So they said, we need you to assure us that if you and Kim push money through the system and we lose our jobs, that we'll be compensated for it. And you know what? I said, you know what? I agree with you guys. I have no problem if we get money through and it's there and we can compensate you guys. Absolutely. So they were very comforted by that. And it was shocking to me that they would call and tell me this because they're scared.
Can you give us a heads up as to when she's going to do it? Because we want to make sure we're out sick that day, just in case. Yeah. So. Yeah.
They don't want to be in work that day when we're able to pass money through because they're going to lose their jobs. So I feel bad for them and I understand, but you know what? Push comes to shove. You got to do what you got to do. And so I told them I would help them, I would compensate them, and I told Kim because, you know, obviously I take her lead with everything because, you know, I'm just me, she's the boss. So I say, can we do this? And she said, yes, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it all at some point. So, you know, they know this is coming. Everybody knows it's coming very, very quickly, and we need to stay strong. And, you know, I know all, and I was thinking about this, we're all doing this job right now free of charge, right? These books behind me, this is all a screen. There's nothing there.
What?
So we're all doing a job free of charge right now, all right? So we all know that. But at some point, you know, we will all get compensated, not only because we're doing it for the humanity, but, you know, we need this too. And so it's coming. So stay strong. Stay strong.
So I am going to ask all of our spiritual teams that are listening to this this week for the next a couple of weeks, actually, till we get past at least 3 days past the 21st, to please constantly shield, constantly protect yourself, and constantly bring light and protection to this planet and to all of us, because it is getting pretty rough out there, and they are pushing their hardest on their agendas. Nothing is working, nothing is going through. You know, they're losing people left and right. And so, you know, the ritual days and whatnot are these from the new moon to the full moon or until the solstice. So please just make sure that you're protecting yourselves and those that you love throughout all of this. But hopefully this will be the last time. We'll round the bend before the end of the month. So that's all I really wanted to say this week. So.
Okay.
That's all.
Well, let me just add one.
That this
If I can
empire
just
that was built over thousands of years, that you bypassed everything, and you brought everything from the back system to the front. So now we don't need a wallet system at all because you've taken over.
We have one. We have
We'll
one.
have one too, but we don't need it. I'm saying. Like now,
well, the banking system doesn't run on an SQL system anymore. Agencies are complaining. Everybody's complaining they don't have any access to anything. They've resorted to trying to use backdoors in various apps and this and that to track any movement of money because they can't see how much money is in the accounts anymore. The hackers can't get in there anymore. And so things should be more secure now. However, I've got to tidy up a few things, and then some of these things were pointed out to me that this is how they're doing it now. So I need to make sure that all those things are cleaned up and secure, and then we should be able to move forward with that. So.
Well, I want to thank you, Kim, because as far as job security that you're giving me with all the complaints from the Langley and the deep state people and all those people who are missing out, right? You're giving me some job security here, so I thank you for that. I mean, all the headaches that I get, thank you very much, very much. I'll take it all. Trust me, I'll take it all. But thank you. Can I say one last thing just before we sign off?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I consider myself a strategist, right? So I've been in the game for a long time, right? And I see myself as a strategist. I see the big picture. Okay. I think anybody who wants to go and look at other people who are strategizing, not only, I strategize the big picture, but there are people like Dr. Jerome Corsi who strategizes, who is a strategist when it comes to the elections. And so if you really want to know more about what's going on and how they're strategizing, because I'm going to tell you, in 2019 and in 2018, there are books and people from the deep state and from election officials from back way when who were working for the Democrats who have strategized all of what's happening now in 2020, this 2020 election, set up a strategy way back when, and it is what they strategize is actually happening right now to defeat Donald Trump, and Dr. Corsi sees it all.
Was that in Looking Glass too?
No, I don't think so. I think they actually just strategized. They used there's a video a blog that Dr. Corsi put together, and he shows that there are professors that actually put together a strategy in 2018, thinking that Elizabeth Warren was going to be the candidate, and they strategized everything that's going on right now. It's phenomenal. It's mind blowing, literally, the way they planned it, soup to nuts, right now, what's going on. So look into that. It's on YouTube. His name is Dr. Jerome Corsi. He's a big Trump fan, but they strategize about how to win the presidency. He's got some books written and stuff, and some ebooks, and I think he deserves a lot of credit because of the things that he's doing for the president, for this country when it comes to strategizing all of that to win. So that's all I want to say, and thank you very much. I think Life Force is a group of individuals to be reckoned with. Kim definitely has. We also need to make sure that we give our energy as human beings to the cause, to God, and to all of us to have strength in this whole situation, because we will overcome. We will overcome as long as we stick together and give our positive energies towards the outcome of this election for President Trump, and to make sure we win completely, because we've already won. We just have to kind of push it over the top. Okay, and that's it. I yield. Thank you, Tank. Thank you, Ken.
Hey, great work, Tom. Thanks so much, man. Really appreciate it. Good report today. So, Mrs. Possible, Snow Princess there.
Why?
Anything else that's on your mind today? I'm gonna close it out with one last thing, but if you have anything else to say, I want to make sure that you.
That's it. That's all I had to say for this week so far. We'll have more next week. But right now,
Right.
some things ongoing, and I don't want
I got you.
to.
Well, thank you does not even begin to express how grateful I personally am for all the work that you've done.
Well, thank you guys and the whole UNN team. I mean, getting news out every day. You go. I mean,
Hey,
good news, real news.
real
So,
news, real news.
Fantastic job this week yourself.
Thank you. Kim makes it impossible to be cocky or to be arrogant, when you work with her enough. Because while these jackalopes are consistently and constantly trying to, make it seem like they've invented something amazing because they made Jell-O, or they're so important, or they're so intelligent.
Oh, critical.
Yeah, they're so incredible with all they do. They're constantly overblowing mediocrity and trying to get us to bow down to it. And it's quite frankly, it's never been something I could get behind personally, to follow mediocrity. And I gotta be real honest with you. As much as I might talk about Kim, I promise you, I am constantly underselling all that she's done, all that she's doing, only because she doesn't want to be the center of attention. But I know that people don't fully realize this, and all the animals from the order who think they're so prominent and important, that the same ones you all worshipped as a god, they're not here anymore. They didn't just hand things over either. They were taken out strategically. They were taken out with their own weapons, being the masters of warfare, and Kim out-strategized them, outmaneuvered them, overpowered them in every possible way. And when you had the chance to be part of all of this, you could have just complied. We could have found a way, but instead you wanted to eliminate 90% of the population and leave us all here, like zombies, those who survived your wrath. So based on the last directive that went out and the failure of the order to comply with the directions that were given, we have taken steps to move past you, and we will be pressing forward to bring about life force. What's that?
I said over you, around you, or through you, if necessary.
Yeah. But there's no place anymore. So we will be launching Life Force Health and Wellness Association, the Life Force Health and Wellness Association. This will be the new standard for healthcare, for medical practice, for holistic practice. And we will have Life Force certifications, and this will be global. This will set the standard and the bar for how humans are restored, how we are given and treated preventatively. There will be a global board of directors. Every country will have 2 people that will represent them, and then there will be a board of directors for every country. Then every branch of medicine or branch of healing will have a board of directors, and probably in every single country as well. We have laid out a lot of the structure. So this is something that will take the very brightest minds in the world, the most innovative ways of healing, of looking at medicine, of looking at the whole human experience, to consider how we recover and come back from this trauma, which has been, to have all this incredible power, like a genie bottled up in a lamp, is humanity has been filled with this incredible latent power and held back all this time. I promise you, we will not be held back anymore. And
every board will also have their own research and development centers. There'll be communication. This will not be the same as the World Health Organization. The World Anti-Health Organization is a conglomerate and is not inclusive. They do not include, although all countries are required to be a member. If you're a member of the United Nations, with us, it's actually an interdependent system where everyone is working together. There's, every country participates. They can appoint their own board members. We have a way to detect infiltrators right away, if there are any deep state people left next week. But I think it's important that we include everyone. We will be creating an entirely new educational system for doctors to apply to. Just so you know, it's the Medical Association here in the United States that issues the medical licenses. And they are an association. They are not a government organization, although there is a state board that they have to pass as well. However, it's the association that oversees all of the medical professionals in the U.S. So we thought, well, why don't we just make our own association?
That's right.
Well,
So
I'd like to add to that. So, you know, I'm very, very proud to be part of Life Force because, you know, all through my life, I've always been told I'm a doer, right? So there are order takers, and then there are doers. There are people who make things and create things. And Life Force was created for just that, because we are all doers. We are people who listen and take what we get and make something better from it. And that's why I am so honored to be with you people, because we need to create.
We're creating our own world where
Yes.
without them in it, because, you know, they've proven, if you look at the planet as a whole and just take a step back and just take a look at everything that goes on every single day. I mean, and how dirty we live. I mean, we literally live in dirt everywhere. And I'm not just speaking of, you know, dirt of the earth. I'm talking about, you know, carbon emissions and antiquated technologies and all of these, you know, things that are just useless. Our cell phone is giving off microwaves. Why are we using microwaves at all? We've had superior technology to get rid of that a long, long time ago. So why are we still using it? It's not good for people. It's not good for animals. It's not good for plants. You know, hyperloops and the maglev trains. I mean, they're proven to cause, you might as well just inject yourself with cancer on the way in all cases. You know, we need to create a better world. Take a look at all the issues that are going on worldwide and make a decision on what needs restoration. You know, it's not only us. You know, wellness is also food. You know, better food choices and non-GMO things and non-GMO seeds and all of these things. That's all part of the wellness section as well, right? Everything
protecting this big rock that we're on is most important to everybody, because, you know, eventually we'll get to interstellar space and we'll get there. You know what I mean, Kim?
So we're already there. We've been there for years. You know, we've had something called the Secret Space Force. You think it's just American? Of course it's not. It's global. It's all under the black sun. We've been going to and fro forever using advanced technologies that they lost in 2012. So yes, there's been a few years where they haven't been going anywhere, but prior to that, everybody, jump rooms, wormholes, I mean, they had it all. They were given all that tech. We've been doing it as a humanity. It's just that we have not been privileged to that information, number one. And number two, we are not permitted to go anywhere, except for the slaves that they take off-world through Swiss Indo and Indonesia, which everybody thinks is so wonderful in the Okinawan, right? No, it was an off-world trafficking operation.
Yep.
For humans.
So the reality is, a lot of the things that people think are legends and fantasy and science fiction, these things are very real and very capable. And Tom is very, you know, soft-spoken about these things and doesn't want to bring too much out. I'm of the opposite opinion. I believe the body responds to shock. And it's essential that people are shocked right now and realize what's actually happening in the world. I think it's very important that the entire order recognizes the collapse that's happening from the inside out in their entire organization. And even if they won, the whole world would have been destroyed and them along with it. I don't know why they think that everyone thinks who's contributing to this, that they're part of the 10% that was going to be saved. So if you see the extended version of the plan, even the 10% got killed off. So nobody would have lived. So the fact that they keep pressing on the same idea is an absolute waste of time. So directions have been given out. The best thing that could have happened is for them not to follow those directions, because now you have essentially, we've given you the opportunity to cooperate and you said no. So now there's no question about what has to happen next. So I do appreciate that. And I think that's certainly a service to humanity. And as the warning that was given out, I think in 2010 said that you'll be shown mercy through death. So I think it's a wonderful time, that we get to be able to move on that way. So I do appreciate that non-compliance and arrogance to be so strong and so stout right to the end. So with that being said, I really look forward to what's coming next. I think there's incredible things that are in the works. To everyone, I don't know. I know a lot of people follow. They're not familiar with what a lot of us have been trying to do, like Tom and myself and Kim. And this all kind of started with, how do we change the world, right? And how do we fund humanitarian projects around the world, right? And do things and have a bigger impact, have a bigger venue to have a greater impact on more people, to help more people see, the giant that's in them, right? That's been the goal the whole time.
Yep.
So to finally get to this point, to share what Kim just said, and I wasn't sure if she was going to talk about that today. So I know that by the time Kim talks about things, she never talks about things until she's already done everything that needs to be done. Even if she's got odds and ends here, that's a small thing. She knows she already has them beat. So I would encourage all of you to, if you don't feel confident yourself, please feed off of our confidence. Because believe me, I know how confident and how comfortable and happy Kim is right now. I know how I am, how confident and excited I am about what's happening
next. Let it go, because you keep calling me the snow princess.
You look a little bit like that. I mean, if you could rock the notes. We should have choreographed this better. I didn't know you were coming that way today.
Sorry.
But I do want to say that it is that time. It is the Susan Hoffman mentioned, she's kind of touched on it and kept talking. She mentioned that we can have a real golden age, right? So you have these cycles of 26,000 years. Well, this is the beginning of the golden age.
And it actually came in, just so you know, from the European spiritual team. That was actually quantum surgeon Gavin. He was on our call a few weeks back.
Right. Okay. So he was talking about it on the 21st, right? But you got a different message, right? There was just a few days ago. Actually, it was the beginning of the golden age. So while they're pressing,
well, he's the one that had the few days ago the golden age. So
okay, good.
I'm saying based on what the deep state and the cabal do right now is they're going to be pushing for, if they can't have if we can't have the control over this rock, they're not going to get it either. And by they, I don't mean myself and Tank. I mean the 99% of us that live here. So they're going to destroy it before they let us have it. So it's going to be their goal. They're going to give it a go. So
yeah. So the plan of the Black Sun and the Dragon families was basically, either get their utopia or get flown off to some other clandestine, weird, evil world where they thought they were going to be gods, where they would have been, turned into potato soup or whatever. At the end of the day, it's ridiculous to continue on with that plan, but we get it. I appreciate that they're staying the course. So, and I appreciate that the course that we're on is just a much more powerful, much easier path to be on. So, with everybody out there, I know that it's chaos and confusion and terrifying right now. I get that. I know. So, everybody, share this video. Tell everybody you know. Go join your assembly. Go to lifeforce.global. Tom. Go to lifeforce.global, get on the Staten Island Assembly. They need your help, please. Okay?
Absolutely.
Everybody needs to be on an assembly. Okay? You need to be part of your assembly, contributing in some way. You just show up and listen for an hour and, cast your vote, but you need to know what's going on, because at the end of the day, we are at the point where it sounds to me that we're finally going to be able to bring funding in for humanitarian projects around the world. Now, just imagine if you started bringing in money where regular people who actually do good things, not the people that talk about it, right? They say they're going to do great stuff. Like, people love Bill Gates because he donates so much money to charities, right? Well, when you have $1 kajillion and you donate 10 million, that's not donating anything, right? his goal is to kill you, right? So, but when real people, regular people get money and their whole life, they're just so excited to want to help, imagine what the world can become. Now, I believe that over time, what you'll have happen is these local county assemblies will form. As they form, it'll create a great opportunity to add to every one of these assemblies a project management team, right? And that project management team becomes a think tank within the assembly that touches everybody and knows what's going on. And they can come up with projects for that area, and you can bring money in directly through them and fund things, bypassing the de facto government, which we never got any of that money anyways. In this way, you know who the best contractors are, who the most honest business people are, what really needs to happen in your town. You know what the issues are. You know better than anybody, right? So as real people on the ground living here, as they come up with great, amazing ideas, don't you want to be part of the movement? Go ahead, Kim.
I just forgot to mention that all of Congress, the House and the Senate, is trying to steal the money that we sent to Trump, right? Which isn't going to happen. He's not giving that up to Pelosi and those people. But B, what they're also trying to do is they're trying to figure out a way to get you to take the vaccine in exchange for a stimulus check. So you would be paid $1,200 again, or $1,500 or whatever it is, in exchange for a stimulus check. Well, they realized that I wasn't going to do that, that's for sure. And they're still short, right? Of course, they had to throw in all their people. $900 billion seems to be a number for those people. I'm not sure why, but it's a thing, right? Maybe because all the money's going into their banks. They think the banks need funding. I'm not sure. So I forgot to mention that. Is that their final answer on Friday as well?
Yeah, you know, I'm mad at you. You just stole my thunder. I was going to say those things because
you don't get thunder. You had enough thunder today. You're done.
Sorry. No, but you're right. You're right. They think that we're never going to get that money, and they're never going to get that money, and they think that they can do what they want, and they steal as much as they can, and we need to prevent any of that from happening anymore.
Yeah. All right, Kim, I'll let you wrap up. Sorry.
No, it's okay. You guys always chime in. That's fine. So that's very exciting to me. You know what? I've always had an issue about people like that looking down on us, on me, on my family. It just drives me crazy, the thought of it. It's everything in me to hold myself together, that they think that they can take everything that is for the people and continue to do this. You know, I have half a mind that it would seem that if you are really so dedicated to trying to force vaccinate, that every time anybody who votes for that thing, as far as I'm concerned, it should really be very clear that you're voting on whether you want to be
you're a target.
Yeah, it sounds to me like you're voting whether or not you want to be on this planet or off. Mm-hmm. So I use this example. All law, everybody always goes back to the Bible eventually, right? Everybody will trace it back to ecclesiastical law, canon law. They'll go all the way back. Now, if you go back, the first 5 books of the Bible are referred to as the law. Right now, whether you're into the Bible or not, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying this is what it says. So Deuteronomy 30:19. It says, I place before thee blessings and cursings, life and death. So I'm going to tell you what God said to answer this question for all of you out there, for all of the deep state that wants to make these decisions. When you get the choice to try to force vaccinate, if you make that vote to force vaccinate, you're making a choice, not for us, for yourself, between life and death. So here is the answer. The next verse is the answer. It says, choose life. So with that being said, I would choose wisely.